weirdest sports coach ever by Stark Raving Sports.
I'm not going to do a crazy long intro or anything for this guy because I really just want to get straight into talking about
Why is he just making the same face like he's lost? He's a lost kid.
him. Mike Leach is one of the most interesting coaches to have ever walked the face of the earth. So let's get into it. One thing I really want to emphasize with this guy is that not only does he probably lead sports in just the sheer volume of weird, random, funny moments, but he did it in a way that may have seemed like insanity, but there was absolutely a method to the madness. With all of his strange quirks and weird hobbies, there was always a reason, and for how strange he may have seemed at times, he was a very well-informed and passionate man about everything he was interested in. And that, of course, includes football. Before we get into his actual coaching, though, let me give you a few tastes of what I mean by him being quite the riveting individual. If a normal coach was asked who would win in a mascot battle royale, they might laugh it off and give a pretty simple answer like the Lion or the Sun Devil. But not Mike Leach. He treated this question like he was building the new Avengers, while delivering his statements completely straight-faced.
Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that. I'm going to say the Wildcat's out. The Trojan, does he have a horse or is he on foot? Does he have a bow and arrow or just his sword? Tree, I imagine that tree's going to get chopped down. Unless we're going to go with the bird and somebody might get pecked or something, I don't know. The beaver, well, we'll see how long that beaver can hold his breath. The Ute, again, we're back to, is he on horseback? Does he have a bow and arrow? Did he trade for a rifle? I mean, you know, because if that Ute's got a rifle, there's some definite problems. And, you know, you'd have to get one of those Harry Potter activists to read up on how you kill a Sun Devil, because there's a lot of outside stuff there.
Hearing the head coach of your team say you'd have to get one of those Harry Potter activists to read up on how you kill a Sun
What the fuck is an Harry Potter activist?
Devil would whiplash me
Does it mean a fan?
so hard my neck would snap. He treats every question, no matter how serious or silly, as if he's being asked the meaning of life. Another example of what I'm talking about is when he was simply asked what his favorite Halloween candy was. He really likes gummies.
You hate candy corn. What's your favorite Halloween candy corn?
I mean, I completely hate candy corn. Gummy bears for sure. The Haribo's got to be the Haribo ones. They make better candy than we did overall. Because they have gummy everything. You know, they have those nerds clusters, which is new. Yeah, which is good.
The way he speaks and carries himself almost reminds me of like a comedian. Think of a guy along the lines of Norm Macdonald. He mastered the art of using the bait and switch in comedy as a way to emphasize his points. Like in this post-game...
I mean, he must be neurodivergent in some way. I was gonna say autistic, but I don't know if it's autistic, but, you know, he clearly has a very unique way of thinking, right?
Where he's breaking down what he thinks is going wrong with his team. It starts off pretty normal until he starts to diverge into...
This isn't the guy that says that they should execute his team or something. That's another guy.
An almost Joe Biden-esque rant. Only the difference here is that he's actually making a point with this and wraps it back around to make a joke about how his team isn't using their hands.
Well, I think we got to use our hands better. You know, when I was a kid, I was in grade school, and I was a big dinosaur guy, and I can't remember the gas station. But they'd give you a free dinosaur, you know, if you got filled up there. That's back when they had commercials on TV, and then they'd give something to the kids. And the idea was is you raise hell with your parents every time you're in the station wagon. When we had one good classic, like, you know, something off of Wonder Years, there was one of those fake Woody ones where it had, you know, fake painted on wood. The finish and the varnish on it would peel. So then it looked more bogus than ever. So we had one of those. And but anyway, so they'd have these commercials. And then, you know, hoping to get the kids to raise hell, let's go to this gas station. I can't remember what gas station it was. And they'd give you a little dinosaur, you know. And so then, curious about that, go to grade school and all that. And they start talking about evolution. And, like as in, if you don't use a certain part of your body, as time evolves over, century upon century, that part of the body disappears. And I'm genuinely fearful that on our team, if me and the other coaches don't get them right, that about a generation from now, their kids and their grandkids won't have hands.
The fact that
I mean, but like logic, you don't have to be worried. A lot of humans have not used their brain for many hundreds of years, and yet we still have brains. So evolution sometimes doesn't work like that. We keep part that we don't use sometimes.
he can seemingly go on a completely nonsensical rant that turns out to actually be making a funny critique about his team is genius. He has a similar rant, and honestly, I don't even know how to set this one up. Just watch.
As coaches, we failed to get through to them. As coaches, we failed to make our coaching points and our points more compelling than their fat little girlfriends. Now, their fat little girlfriends have some obvious advantages. For one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are and how easy it's going to be. We had a whole bunch of people, everybody wanted to win the football game, but nobody wanted to play the football game. Well, that defies every level of work ethic that exists with regard to football.
Like, who else would say this stuff?
What?
It's very pirate-y of him. I was trying to do a segue, whatever. Did you know his nickname was the Pirate? And no, it wasn't just technically because of his on-field antics or a weird inside joke. Actually, I guess I take that back. It was technically a weird inside joke, just one that everyone knew. Mike Leach was obsessed with pirates. He loved pirates so much that not only did he use pirate analogies to inspire his players and told them to, quote, swing their swords, but he even decorated his office with a large amount of pirate-themed items to the point that his office was described as a pirate museum. He was so passionate, in fact, that he even made an appearance on Friday Night Lights where he talked to the coach about how he's lost his inner pirate.
You're the coach at Dillon East. You've lost your inner pirate. Sword. Have you ever heard swing your sword? You're supposed to swing your sword like this. You're swinging yours like this. I mean, you've got to find your inner pirate.
The craziest part about this is that he wasn't even supposed to be in the show. They were just getting some B-roll footage, and this guy came up talking about pirates and how you lost your inner pirate, and the showrunners just said, hey, that kind of fits, just keep rolling. Obviously, that's a joke, but if you told me that this was a real Mike Leach story, I'd believe you. Now, I must remind you, don't let his wacky antics and goofy demeanor fool you. Most notably known for his role in helping create the air raid offense, he was considered one of the most creative offensive minds in all of college football, being the offensive coordinator for Kentucky and Oklahoma. He also spent some time as the head coach for Texas Tech, Washington State,
He always looks lost. I mean, he's always making that face.
and Mississippi State. Fun fact too, his first ever year being a head coach was for the Pori Bears. You may or may not have heard of them before, so if you haven't, they're an American Football Association team from Finland. What a random poll. But yeah, you don't work for that long and get that many jobs if you're just a weirdo who also sucks. Unless your daddy has some serious connections, that is. Let's go over a few stats to back up how good he was. The teams he was head coach for won 59.8% of the games they played over his entire career, and he had 2 different seasons finishing with a top 12 team in the national rankings. His quarterbacks consistently were some of the guys with the most passing yards in college football. 2 of the top 3 most passing yards ever in a D1 FBS season are Mike Leach quarterbacks, and 4 of the top 10 single game passing leaders all time were also his guys, including the guy that's tied for number 1. He also has the most wins in history for taking an unranked team to play a ranked team and beating them. So yeah, go figure.
That's cool.
He could beat the piss out of your team on the football field and then go talk to his players about like Laffy Taffy and Blackbeard. Now that we've gone over how he could back up his weirdness with some pretty outstanding performance, let's get back to what made this guy not just a great coach, but an exceedingly interesting human being. There's so much to cover, I'm just gonna go over these few pretty quickly. In the off season, he loved to spend a good chunk of his time studying things besides football, and besides pirates, of course. He liked to study Native American leader Geronimo, pioneer grizzly bears, chimpanzees, whales, and Jackson Pollock, just because he found these subjects interesting. What an assortment of characters. He taught a 5-week seminar about insurgent warfare and football strategies.
What?
And if that wasn't crazy enough, he did it with politician Michael Baumgartner. Like, bro, they should have just put him in a Dos Equis commercial. Such a missed opportunity. This is the most interesting man in the world. From special guests to ID checks at the door, I would have killed to be in that class. And somehow, between all of the coaching and random studying he did, he also found time for love. And despite his quote earlier about
Their fat little girlfriends.
he did also give some solid dating advice.
You gotta put them in a position where they'll talk. You gotta want them, in case you'll be nervous yourself. So you want a situation where you know, you have to engage in conversation, and then don't let them bring their friend with them. Now, what I used to do is I had the 2-for-1. You could buy 2-for-1 coupon book, and you go to the sandwich place, and this looks good. What do we have? And, well, I don't know. You pull out the coupon and say, here's the menu. But that's not the first date. I think make sure you go somewhere where you can talk. You know, if you go to Washington State, you've got 5 of America's greatest rivers around there. That'd be a good place. We've got cities, we've got mountains. You can go hunt rattlesnakes if you want to. You can go fish for sturgeon. And I'll tell you what, if you took her sturgeon fishing, I don't believe she'd ever forget it.
And after you took his dating advice to heart and found the love of your life, don't worry, because he also gives excellent advice on how to make the wedding go as smoothly as possible as well, delivering his monologue once again with the timing and cadence of a seasoned comedian.
Well, it's too late to rescue you. My wisdom would be you have to stay out of the way. When it comes to marriages, the women lose their mind. Your fiance's going to lose her mind. Your mother-in-law is going to lose her mind. Your mom is going to lose her mind, and they're going to barrage you with constant questions. What should we wear? And then, which of course my answer was, I don't care. And then, what color should the invitations be? I don't care. What should we have for dessert? I don't care. But see, I don't care is not satisfactory at all. And you're going to get caught in a catch-22, and I'm certain that you already have. And that catch-22 is, well, I want you to be a part of this too. So what color invitations? All right, the blue ones. Well, I kind of like the tan ones. Okay, the tan ones then. Oh, you're just saying that because.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had a marriage, but yeah, this whole thing of like being someone who doesn't care that much, right? Which usually is associated with guys, yeah. And the girl cares too much about everything, and so every time you say, I don't really care about this specific little thing. I mean, you choose, but then they're mad that you said you don't care, and you have to say, it's like it's not that big of a deal. Like if you care, be happy to choose. But then it becomes a drama because you should care, whatever. That's the worst.
You want this over with. You're not even thinking about it, which is, of course, true. And it's just going to go back and forth, and they're going to play keep away from you until after you're married.
And as you could have probably guessed by now, the strange ideas from his genius mind did heavily bleed into his coaching style as well, such as when he allegedly proposed what was called a, I'm not joking, dwarf package, aka having a little person on the team who could be thrown to gain some extra yardage, and he had to be talked out of it. Again, this is all alleged and hearsay, but God, I want that to be true so bad. Like, are you kidding me? I don't think even David Lynch could have come up with something like that. Now, a more down-to-earth strategy he had was the time he was coaching for Oklahoma, and he made a decoy script. The reason he made a decoy script was so that it could be planted in a place that Texas could find it as a test to see see if they were honest. And not only did Texas find it and believe it was real, but they were, in fact, not honest. The decoy script worked, for a bit at least. Once Texas realized it was fake, they did take back the lead and eventually win the game, but like, man, the fact it worked is ridiculous. Little random one real quick, but he was once frustrated with the weather reporting by his local news station the year prior, so in typical Mike Leach fashion, he decided, well, I guess I'll do it myself then.
So over here, we have Mule Shoe. So those folks in Mule Shoe, you can pretty well go to the bank with what you hear here. On Friday, we're looking at cooler than normal temperatures, and it's in the wind that we windy, but windy's not all bad because other teams that try to throw the ball don't practice in the wind that we do, so therefore we can pass, they won't be able to, so we like that.
Like, this guy's the GOAT. And just before I wrap this video up, I just want to go over some of my favorite quotes from the man himself. And there's a lot of them out there, so I'm just picking the ones that really speak to me the most. I do have a Viking axe by the bed if I need to whack someone. My wife bought me a Viking axe. The axe side curls down so you can grab the adversary around the neck, and you can use it to climb walls as a grappling hook. Fish aren't smart. It's not like they have advanced degrees. I ought to have Mike's pirate school. The freshmen, all they get is the bandana. When you're a senior, you get the sword and skull and crossbones. For homework, we'll work pirate maneuvers and stuff like that. It's like Woodstock, except everyone's got their clothes on. If a pinecone war breaks out, you have no choice but to engage in it. There are no neutral countries in pinecone wars.
I mean, genuinely, he should have done some stand-up comedy.
It's a little like breakfast. You eat ham and eggs. As coaches and players, we're like the ham. You see, the chicken's involved, but the pig's committed. We're like the pig. They're like the chicken. They're involved. Everything we have rides on this. And there really are just too many best moments to go over with this guy. I could sit here all day and break him down, but that would probably make this video like 6 to 7 hours long. So I just want to show some of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, and a credit to Cats, the ability to generate that much animosity. Instead of playing hard and getting a first down and getting a play, then, you know, you want to sit behind a shade tree, eat a fish sandwich, and drink a lemonade.
Your defense comes up with a huge stop. What went through your mind?
Into American football, he seems like an absolute legend, yeah.
That was a huge stop. No, that was a tremendous job. Well, I felt a lot better about it than if they'd made it. I felt better about it than if they'd made it. And then just tremendous job by our group, I thought. Glad to get out of here with a win. This is a tough place to do it. And, once in a while, a pirate can beat a soldier, you know?
Okay.
Mike Leach was absolutely one of the most interesting people I've ever talked about in a video. His legacy lives on not just as an incredibly diverse and intriguing person, but also as a football strategy genius. And of course, I've been saying was this whole video because on December 11th, 2022, Mike Leach suffered a heart attack and seizure, ultimately leading to his passing the next day at the age of 61, ending his coaching career and life far too soon. And the College Football Hall of Fame seemed to agree. Their requirement for coaches to be eligible to be put into the Hall of Fame was they needed to win 60% of their career games. Mike would have more than likely passed that with another season or two, with his final win percentage finishing at 59.8%. So just so Mike Leach could be eligible for the Hall of Fame, they bumped the requirement down to 59.5%. And that's not where the tributes end. Just under a month after Mike passed, Mississippi State football had one more game to play that season, the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa against Illinois. Tampa's football stadium hosts the Buccaneers, a pirate-themed team, the perfect opportunity for the perfect tributes. Mississippi State carried out a Mike Leach-themed pirate flag before the game. They wore special pirate-themed helmets in Mike's honor. The band spelled out his name at midfield, and after beating Illinois in the pirate-themed stadium, What would Mike Leach have loved more in life than to see his football team take a picture after a victory, dressed in pirate gear with a pirate ship right behind them? A perfect tribute to a man whose legacy will not be soon forgotten. A man who left his skull and crossbones mark on the game he loved. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. Thank you for watching, and have a good one. Peace.
Rest in peace, yeah. I mean, he seemed like a genuinely fun guy. And I, as one myself, I definitely appreciate people who have like ton of interest, right? Like, can't imagine being only obsessed with one thing, you know what I mean? So, that's cool. That's really cool. All I can say, yeah. Seemed like a fun guy. Definitely a legend.